name is Lou Hickman, and I arrived in Aberdeen in June of 1943. I took my basic training in C Company with Sergeant Collins, the Old Guard. And I shipped out in October of 1943 and joined my unit in California before going to Europe. And I enjoyed my entry into the Army and didn't have too many problems. And after we left California, we went to Camp Santa Anita. We stayed at the racetrack in Camp Santa Anita, California. We slept in the horse stables out there we were out there for a week, and we slept in the horse stables. They had 2 soldiers in each stable, and we caught the train at Camp Santa Anita, and we headed for the East Coast. Then we went to Fort Miles Standish, Massachusetts, and we landed. We got on the ship in Boston, and we went to Europe. And I was in that 1,000-ship convoy that shipped from the East Coast to England. And we landed in Scotland, and from Scotland we went to England, and we set up an ammunition dump. I was the 583rd Ordnance Ammunition Company. We operated a forward ASP, forward ammunition supply point. And then when Patton landed in Normandy, we were with General Patton 3rd Army. And we landed in Normandy with General Patton 3rd Army, and we went all the way through Europe with General Patton. And when I was in 4 campaigns in Europe, and we landed in Normandy. We was in Normandy, northern France, the Rhineland, and Central Europe. And I was in Germany, way up in Germany when the war ended in 1945. Then we moved back to France. And after we left France, they had us on alert to go to the Far East. They issued us new equipment, and we were all ready to go to Far East, and the war ended. Whoa, I was glad. Then I went to Korea in 1952, and I was in North Korea. I received 2 Bronze Stars in Korea in 1952, and then after that, the war ended in Korea. Then I arrived back in Aberdeen, back on the Aberdeen Proving Ground, and that's just about it, except I stayed in till I got my 20 years in, and I retired in November, November 1963. Then I went to work for the government. I was an instructor at Aberdeen before I went, so I was the first black instructor in mobility training department in 1947. Then after that, I went to Europe, and I went to Korea in 1952. And then after I got back from Korea, I went back to Aberdeen, and I retired in 1963. That's about it right now.
That's about it, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of other anecdotes that you probably want to share. Let me see if you want to hold up your. Let me see if I can pull back wide enough and get that.
Mm-hmm. And the people, so I've been in Harford County. I've been in Harford County since 1956. Mm-hmm. And the town people the county people in Bel Air, they had a proclamation, and they invited me over and issued me this proclamation.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, boy. They call you Sarge, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, like that. Essentially, what does it say?
Oh, I can't.
Oh, you can't see it? Okay. They said, you've returned from active duty as a Master Sergeant in 1963 after serving a total of 20 years in the military and continued to teach as a civilian instructor until 1980. That's pretty good. And whereas Sergeant has been a charter member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars in Perryman since 1950, right?
Yeah, the VFW Post 6054.
I see. And now, therefore, we, the County Executive and County Council of Hartford County, Maryland, do hereby recognize Louis A. Hickman for giving so many years of his life to the service of his country and the citizens of Hartford, Connecticut. Oh, Hartford, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Hartford County. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty in. Now, you got the County Executive of Hartford County. That's Eileen R. Ryman. And this is Kimberly. Boy, they write like executives. It says County Executive, and that's exactly what they write like. Then there was Joanne Parrott, Susan B. Heston, and someone this appears to be, Veronica Chenoweth, Mark S. Decker, Barry Glassman, and Robert S. Wagner. Pretty good. And the test administrator of the county council, that will be Kate Herbsig. Very, very good. Now let me see if I can get a shot of this 53 years after D-Day man receives medal. You were sharing some things with me about the town, maybe
over in England, yeah.
Oh, in England, about the interaction between white soldiers and black soldiers.
Towns.
Oh yeah. And you were talking about the you were able to fraternize with the English women, but the American GIs didn't like it too much.
No.
Yeah. Do you care to discuss that on?
Yeah, we were in England back in 1944, and they didn't want us to fraternize with the English girls. So, what happened? We had to go to one town on the pass, and the other soldiers went to another town. And if we got together, that was a big fight. If we messed around with those English girls.
But they weren't American girls.
No.
Who was that pretty lady that worked in the PX?
Miss Hobson.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Man.
Levada Hobson.
Is that right? She was a nice looking woman.
Yeah, she was. Ms. Adams used to run the service club.
Oh, I see. And this lady she was real nice though.
Yeah, she was real nice. She used to be a school teacher.
Is that right? I was 18 when I went there. She smiled at me. I just melted like.
Yeah, when I went in the Army, I was 18, and
is that right? Yeah. Well,
and I retired in 1963. I retired at 38. Then I went to work for the government. They called me the Double Dipper.
Double Dipper. Hey, nothing wrong with that though, right?
So I taught in mobility training department. I taught heavy equipment, tanks, and
is that right?
Heavy equipment.
Boy, tanks are mean.
And I was the first black instructor in mobility training department in 1947. So what happened? I went to school, in the ordnance school, and I was an honor student in my class, and they assigned me to be an instructor in the ordnance school. Myself and Sergeant Ham. Now, Bill Ham, he passed away a couple of years ago, and we were good buddies. And he was 85 years old when he died.
85. What?
I'm 74 right now.
Oh, what?
I feel like I'm 92, but I enjoyed my service in the Army. I got married in Aberdeen. I met my wife. She worked in the PX, and I met her, and we had 7 kids.
Is that right? Boy, that's good. Yeah.
And we had 5 girls and 2 boys. And my youngest son now is 40.
Is that right? Yeah.
And so I live in Bel Air, Maryland. I've been living in Bel Air, Maryland since 1956.
Boy, that's a long haul.
Yeah. In 1967, my house caught on fire, and my wife got burned up in the fire.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
in 1967.
Sorry to hear that.
The next day, my grandson was born, Jacob Hickman. So he was born in March in 1967.
Boy, antiques life some rain must fall, doesn't it?
Yeah. I was in Germany in 1960 and 61. I was the supervisor on recovery in a recovery company over in. We were up in outside of Hanau, Germany.
What did they do? What was it? What were the tasks of a recovery company?
Well, we loaded vehicles. Tanks got stuck in the mud, and we pulled them out. We had a depot there, and we had a railhead, and the disabled tanks and trucks, we would load them on the freight cars, and they'll take them back to the rebuild depots.
Oh, I see.
See, the divisions and all the units they bought their vehicles to us to be turned in, and we loaded them on freight cars and shipped them to the rebuild depots.
Oh, I see, man. Tank must have been something to work on.
Yeah, I was the supervisor of the recovery section, and that was work. It was, back in 1961, I was on Winter Shield 2 up in Graftonville, and we had a lot of problems up there. Tanks broke down, vehicles got stuck in the mud, and we had to tow them in, load them on the freight cars, and ship them back to Hanau, and then we had to check them out and make sure, and then if they needed major repairs, we would ship them to the different rebuild depots, like in Mainz, Germany, and different places like that.
Yeah, well, those let me see. I go back as far as the General Sherman tank.
Yeah, we was up to when I left, we was up to the M60A3.
Holy cow.
Yeah, M60s.
Yeah,
and then we had the old tank transporters. We had about 4 M123 tank transporters where we'd haul out tanks on.
I see. Now the General Sherman was a gas.
Yeah, a gasoline job. Yeah.
And then they switched over.
That was the old World War II job.
Yeah. Then they switched over to what, diesel?
Yeah, they had the M60 and the M60A1 and worked on them.
How much mileage did you get to a gallon on it?
Oh, I think it was about 1 mile a gallon. And
what?
Then what did I think now? My brain I got to shift my brain again to get to thinking. And then after I left Germany, I went back to Aberdeen, and I retired in 1963.
Is that right?
But I went to work as a civilian, so I was GS-11s.
What's the GS-11? That's pretty high at the level. Yeah.
I retired from civil service as GS-11.
I'll be darned.
And I was a technical writer of I was a training specialist.
I was a tech writer for 12 years at RCA.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah. That's interesting how a lot of us have parallel.
I wrote television scripts.
Is that right?
And I was a technical advisor when we had our own television outfit on post. We'd go to the field and we'd make those television tapes. I had to write the scripts, the contract summary sheets, and all that kind of stuff.
Hey, that's good. Yeah.
And then that's what I was doing when I retired. Out there in 1980.
And you had a world of knowledge that a young kid coming out of college could never have.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well,
I went to Maggie L. Walker High School in Richmond, Virginia.
Oh, is that right? Can we get back to the tanks now? The rumor has it that the American tanks after the General Sherman were patterned after the German. What was that? The Tiger tank? Or
no.
That was the one that had the wide tread.
No. The M26 tanks, that was mostly American. And I don't think we had any tanks copied after German tanks.
Is that right?
The M26, that was the tank with the 90mm gun, and that got into the war just as the war was ending.
Yeah,
then they got the M1 tank out now, and so I didn't have too much to do because I had retired before they got too deep into M60.
That's interesting.
But the tank recovery vehicles, the M88s, and the M1 tank, they hadn't come out too long before I retired in 1980.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we had to go out in the field and shoot tanks and
shoot them? Oh, you mean for the
training
training
tapes?
I'll be darned.
I was a technical advisor on making those training tapes and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. What kind of armament do they have on tanks? It must have been pretty thick, wasn't it?
Well, the M1, they got a secret armament system on them.
No, okay.
But the old tanks, the M4s, they had just a regular armament, and the M26. The M26 came out just before the war ended. Now, I was up in North Korea, and we were up there across the 38th parallel in North Korea. And I got 2 Bronze Stars in Korea. Yeah, I was a shop foreman over what they call the training supervisor over there.
Man, geez.
I had American troops and Korean troops, and civilians working in our shops.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cold up there, wasn't it?
Doggone right.
Yeah. I had a brother got shot up there. He died. He died a good while ago, you know. But he got shot up pretty badly there.
Yeah, I was up in North Korea in January during the cold months.
Oh yeah.
And,
they tell me it got nasty up there.
We stayed in tents, squad tents, and that wind coming down from Manchuria through the valley.
Yeah.
We had to take the winches on our vehicles and like a row of tents set up. We had to run the winch cables over the top of the tents to keep the wind from blowing the tents down.
Ooh, man, and how in the world did you keep warm?
We had those heaters, you know, those
space heaters?
Oil heaters in the tent.
How in the world was you? And you stayed warm, huh?
Yeah, but we had those sleeping bags.
Oh, they weren't. Oh, yeah.
We had the feather-lined sleeping bags. But during the day, we go to work. Our shops are set up in tents. You pick up a wrench. It is so cold, the doggone wrench will stick to your finger.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's.
We had a 55-gallon oil drums. We had old used motor oil and stuff.
Oh,
we used to let that old used motor oil drip into the 55-gallon drums. That's what we used for heat.
Yeah.
Or kerosene.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You learn how to do a lot of things when you have to survive, don't you?
Over in Germany during World War II, we were up there where the big stuff was falling. We was up around St. Lo and went through Aachen. We were stationed in Holland, Luxembourg, up at during the Battle of the Bulge. We were up at the French and Belgian border. And during the Battle of the Bulge, we were a major supply of ammo. Snow about 18 inches deep on the ground, and we didn't have no place to work. I had two mechanics in my company, myself and Harvey Cook. Two mechanics. We had about almost 20 vehicles in our company. And what happened, we had to work out in the snow.
Oh, my gosh.
And so much shrapnel on the ground that we had trucks. They had a deadline, couldn't get patches to patch the tires with.
Oh, I see.
We had to park one truck and take the wheels off of that truck and put them on the other truck.
Robbing Peter to pay for.
Yeah,
Boy, that's something else.
Yeah, and we had those German infiltrators coming into our area.
Oh, yeah?
We had Germans dressed up in American uniform.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw a couple of them, but one day I was out road testing a truck, and I left my rifle in the motor pool.
Oh, my gosh.
And this little French kid said, "There go German." And he had a carbine over his shoulder. I said, "I'll go around the block." I didn't want to show him. I was scared because I didn't have no weapon with me.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
I said, "I'll head him off." And I flew back to my company because I didn't have no weapon with me.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't couldn't be Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
You could snap a bullet out of the air.
And then when the war ended, we was up in a place called Bielefeld, Germany. And we stayed inside of a German, where they manufactured trucks. And so we stayed inside the plant. We pulled our vehicles and everything in it. We stayed up there for.
I'll be darned.
And that's where we were when the war ended.
I'll be darned. The battery's going to get low in a couple of minutes. But what was I going to ask you? Did you see that recent movie? I can't remember the title of it, but it was about the Normandy. About the Normandy, the Normandy situation. Well, I can't remember the name of the producer, but he seems to have omitted blacks.
Yeah.
And I heard some people weren't too happy about that.
But you know, we left Southampton, England, and we landed on one of those Liberty ships, and we went across the English Channel, and then it took us off the Liberty ship and put us on a landing barge, and we landed on Omaha Beach. And see, I was in that forward ammunition company. We supplied ammo to the troops.
Man, that was a dangerous job because if all they'd have to do
we had German planes to strafe our area. Yeah, we had one German plane. I think he ran out of fuel, and he crashed in this field, and the French civilians was going to beat him up. It wasn't for the American soldiers to stop him.
Yeah. I heard that was. But they said the German farmers would do the same thing.
I was operating the bulldozer. One of my main jobs was over there when I landed in Normandy. I knew how to operate a bulldozer. So I was using a bulldozer to go in those French fields and push those hedgerows down because we couldn't get our vehicles in the field. And I was operating a bulldozer, cutting the road through those hedgerows over there. We lost three men over the mine. They ran over landmines over there.
Man, yeah.
And I was in the same field with a bulldozer. So we lost 2 lieutenants and a Jeep driver. Got him Everett Potter he was from Texas. And a Lieutenant Path, he was from Pennsylvania. No, New Jersey. He was from Orange, New Jersey. And all 3 of them was blown apart.
I'll be damned. Well, yeah, it's kind of rough. Yeah, people can't appreciate that until they really see it, you know.
Yeah. That's the medal from the French president I received for Normandy invasion. And here's the medal and the certificate that went with it.
Yeah.
You get it?
Oh yeah, got that. Yeah. Yeah. But anything else you want to feed us on there, you know? Yeah, I was asking questions. I guess I was interested in the tanks. What was the name of that black tank outfit?
Oh, I was on leave in Switzerland with some of those guys. 761st.
761st.
And the 758th Tank Battalion. I received a 5-day rest leave. This was back in I think it was August of 1944. And they drew names in my unit, and my name was drawn to go on a 5-day vacation. I leave to Switzerland. So I was in Switzerland, and with some of those guys from the 761st Tank Battalion and the 758th Tank Battalion, and we were all together. And the hotel we stayed in, in Switzerland. I was watching TV one night about 2 years ago, and I saw the picture of this hotel on TV, and I got in contact with the people that run the hotel, and they remembered us. It was the 5 of us in the group, and this lady called me all the way from Switzerland, and she wrote me a letter, and sent me some pictures and everything, and they remembered us because we was on the black ones. In that group.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they remembered you.
Then after we finished our vacation, we went back to France. And right after that, they had the Battle of the Bulge. That was our main project, was the most miserable project. We were doing the Battle of the Bulge. Operating in the cold, in the snow, with no place to work.
Boy, no place to work, huh?
Yeah, we had working out on trucks in about 18 inches of snow.
Boy, and you had to do that in order to survive because the Germans were too, right?
Yeah, they had to survive too.
Yeah, they were interesting. They were, interesting soldiers.
Well, what happened? They had them infiltrating in our area, and they dressed in GI. They could speak English and dressed in GI uniform.
Oh, speak flawless English?
Well, you could trick them. Who was the Brooklyn Dodgers and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they tricked some of them.
Oh, I see. Yeah, with one of the members of the tank battalion, I think it was the tank battalion, said he told a German to surrender, and the man said, I won't surrender. I'll never surrender to a nigger. And he said he called him a nigger in perfect English.
Yeah? Yeah. We moved in a place in Chalon. In Chalon, we moved like late in the afternoon, and with some woods on the other side of the road where we bivouacked, and German soldiers were still in those woods. So we set up our pup tents and all that stuff, and we set our guards out. And those German soldiers that night, they tried to get escape. And we had a guy named William Randolph. He was the corporal of the guard, and they saw him, and they shot a couple of them, and they captured a couple of them, and this is up around Chalon, France.
Well, when I came to Fort Meade, I remember how well they treated the German prisoners of war and how bad they treated us.
Yeah.
I said, man, this is crazy.
Those German people, they treated us pretty good too.
Is that right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
I was way up in Germany when the war ended. We was up there, a place called Bielefeld, when the war ended, and they transferred us back to France, and we went to Langres, up in there, Dijon.
Oh, yeah.